Hey guys, Luxker here. Welcome to my new Xenosaga Pied Piper fan recreation Let's Play. A recreation made by Xenosaga fans, for Xenosaga fans, and potentially much more. This Let's Play is going to be different from any videos that I have made before in the past, as I not only will be talking about the gameplay side of things, but I will also compare the fan recreation to the original game that was released for Japanese phones since 2004. There are many differences that I will go over, so it's important to show off both versions to share every major difference with you. Xenosaga Pied Piper also has a very deep history with the fanbase. From stories from people trying to dump the phone game to the development history of Pied Piper and the fan recreation. I will also go into the story and what it meant for the Xenosaga series as a whole, along with talking about the iconic myth the game is based on, the Pied Piper of Hamelin. Be warned though, as this Let's Play is meant to be played after finishing Xenosaga Episode 1, as there are some pretty big spoilers for characters that were introduced in that game, and it's preferable to learn their backstories first before getting into this. If the games that you played are Xenogears or the mainline Xenoblade series, it may be hard for you to follow along here. If you played Xenosaga Episode 2 before seeing this for the first time, this is the perfect time to play Pied Piper, because stuff that is shown off in this game will have pretty major implications for Xenosaga Episode 3 from what happens in the story of Pied Piper. So I strongly recommend playing Pied Piper after finishing Episode 1 or 2. If you finish Episode 3, however, you may recognize some pretty massive spoilers already, especially near the final chapter of the game. So, good that you are here playing with us. Also, I want to mention that this beginning section of Pied Piper will have a lot of weird or unfamiliar terms to anyone just jumping into the series. So I will add database entries to give out context of whatever person is saying or bring up the definitions of those things. The database entries will also show up at certain points in the main story, and not just this beginning section. Make sure you pause to read these, as they will go by pretty quickly most of the time. With all that baggage out of the way, let's get started. So here we are on Planet Abraxis on TC-4667, which takes place over 100 years before the events of Xenosaga Episode 1. Mom! Hey Mom! Check it out! Not so loud. What is it? Mom, it's a new kind of synthetic dog, and it looks just like a real one, not like those stupid robot models. Don't be silly. You know we can't afford something like that right now. But maybe I'll think about it when the price is more reasonable. What do you say? Really? Well, when can we buy it? Perhaps when you're taller than your mom. Hey, Mom! Yes? Can I try out the trial version on the net? Alright, but only 30 minutes of the UMN for today. Gee, the internet these days are a lot more scarier when it comes to what it was like back in 2000 and TC 4667 with just being on the UMN so freaking often. Awesome! Thanks, Mom! If you meet any weird people online, I want you to report it and dive out immediately. You got that? Jesus! Sharon, Sharon knows how kids on the internet interact with anybody these days. Like, just look at Reddit for in all places. Okay, let's try a Papillon. How about a 6-month-old male? The location is up to you. I just want to test it out for 30 minutes.
Understood. Small dog, Papillon. Male, 6 months old. Corresponding Nexus Corporation, synthetic dog confirmed. Location, Abraxas Central Park. Okay, sounds good.
and the Vaal once poured on the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof is dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared.
Who's there? That's funny. I had a feeling someone was there, but it must be nothing. I'm the only one logged in on the status screen right now. Hey, come here, boy! Woof, woof! Okay, well, that just didn't seem all that creepy enough. Like, geez, who would have thought just a white guy, a guy in a white coat would just jump in to scare children of all people? Like, God, the future is not bright in this day and age. Captain Sauer, this way, please.
Status report.
You probably already know that a large-scale meeting between the Galaxy Federation and the Immigrant Fleet is planned for next term.
The pilgrimage meeting, right?
That's right. Local news reports suggest that Donald Marquand, the acting head of Archon District, is currently under suspicion of exerting influence within an active right-wing organization.
Is that so? Donald Marquand began his political rise with the Taurus Foundation as his constituency. The Foundation's refugee aid efforts and acceptance of the immigrant fleet helped them gain support from the moderates. Are they now aligning with the Taka sect?
Yes. Consequently, they formed a Goodwill Ambassador group to win. It seems they set up their little meeting place here in Archon, likely to remain neutral. However, the ambassadors have been kidnapped.
So that's why their public demonstration escalated into something much worse. Ironic, isn't it? So what's the current status of the Archon police investigation?
They've identified the location where the Goodwill ambassadors and diplomats are being held. Point NG PP642T8. They suspect the crime was carried out by a fringe organization operating under the influence of the immigrant fleet.
Has the immigrant fleet released a statement?
Yes. Today at 22 o'clock, Patriarch Julius issued an official statement declaring that the immigrant fleet has no connection to the kidnappings. He claimed that the immigrant fleet is also a victim, and warned that the pilgrimage meeting will likely be cancelled under the Galaxy Federation eases its suspicions.
And what do you think?
Patriarch Julius has consistently advocated for a divided Abraxian government. I wouldn't rule out the possibility that the group responsible for this is acting against him.
Did the perpetrators make any kind of statement?
No.
That figures. Their goal is to trap Donald, not demand a ransom from the Goodwill ambassadors. Judging by the nature of the crime, I would wager their ultimate goal is to erode diplomatic relations between the Federation and the immigrant fleet. I've heard there's a connection between the Taurus Foundation and the construction of the Assembly Hall program. Naturally, they're protected by the highest level of anti-hacking security. A AAA class barrier like that can only be breached by our own organization, or possibly
Voyager.
Perhaps, do you recall the incident when the immigrant fleet anchored in Milton space and the mediation documents were falsified?
Yeah, if I remember correctly, Gloria's team oversaw that case, right? I also heard they failed to uncover any concrete evidence.
That incident. It's said that an extreme right-wing organization on the Federation side, known as the Descendants of Nestorius, somehow enlisted Voyager to carry out the hacking for them. Given the motive behind the crime, I have no doubt that the Descendants of Nestorius and Voyager are behind this incident as well.
But if they enlisted Voyager's help, wouldn't they be expected to make it worth his while?
I'm not so sure. So far, there have been many acts of terrorism attributed to Voyager. But we can't be sure of what nature of rewards he might have received for his involvement. For now, I'll dive in and assess the situation. At any rate, until this business is settled, our top priority must be the protection of the diplomats and ambassadors.
How are the dive preparations progressing? Yes. About that. What is it? Do not withhold any information in your reports. Lactus and Melis have already entered with a team from the Archon police. Mikhail is currently tracing them, and given the unusual circumstances, they also brought Bugs along. He's equipped with the level 3 counterterrorism armament, BT-278. If all proceeds as planned, they should reach the target shortly. They went in without approval? Was Melis behind that? Yes. Then I'll dive in as well. Prepare the equipment immediately. Jeez, I guess these people really back at Archon have really deep voices and really geeky kind of voices. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Well, we've been waiting for you. Lactus and the others went ahead. Hey, Captain! What's Melis' status? According to Eric's report, they should be nearing the target by now, but... Well, whoever designed the assembly hall's logic system was highly skilled. Are there any problems? Yeah, can you look at this? Is this the Carnegie structure law? You're familiar with it? Yes, I've only heard the name when I was in the police academy, but that was about 10 years ago. Back in the late TC 14... I can't say that right. 4,400s. Okay, fine. I'll don't go with that. Sure. Vector Industries had a UMN management and administration department. These days, it's been merged into the First Division. They were behind the first theories of virtual reality construction inside the new UMN. Carnegie was the name of the mathematician who led the department at the time. Even centuries after the inception of his theories, and despite significant advancements in virtual reality, we are still using his basic law. Without Carnegie's contributions, virtual reality would still be over 100 years behind. Not bad, Eric! That's right on the money! So what about the talented programmers continue to develop new virtual spaces based on his theory? Even if they claim it's original. Now, how can you take a look at this? What is this? It looks like a method for constructing a virtual space. This is the virtual space where the ambassadors are being held captive, and it's where we'll be diving this time. But strangely, they're not using even a single element of the Carnegie structure law. The entire virtual space is built using completely original logic. What's more, once you dive in, you'll find heavy security and macrophages waiting to exterminate you. Why the hell would a criminal want to hack into such a troublesome place? Anyway, Lactus and the others already succeeded in their infiltration. Thanks to the local police, we were able to pinpoint the location where the ambassadors are being held captive. That was a relief, at least. It seems they somehow managed to find a weak point in the security system that'll make things easier for us. Even with Bugs accompanying them, diving in with only a scout and no backup seems like a suicide mission. I'm sorry. Melis was urging me, so I just... When this is over, I expect both of you to submit a report and apologize for this. At any rate, preparations for my dive are the top priority now. Are you ready? Yes, I have located a few secure login points. I've calculated the progress of Melis' team. You'll need to dive into a point in the virtual space's courtyard. From there, you'll be able to quickly rendezvous with Melis and the others. However, even though it's secure, as I mentioned earlier, the virtual space's security measures are arranged like a labyrinth. Plus, the area is also swarming with macrophages, so don't let your guard down. Understood. The preparations for your dive are complete. Great. Let's run the dive immediately. Captain? Yes? Well, there's just one thing that's been worrying me. Worrying you? Yeah, I've investigated the trace logs of the ambassadors from the start of the incident until now, and I don't see any traces of the resistance from them. What do you mean? Usually, when someone is held captive in virtual space by an external force, Their brain leaves some electrical pulse residue as evidence of the resistance. However, this time there was nothing. The only plausible explanation is... That's ridiculous. Are you suggesting the ambassadors are staying there on their own free will? I did a thorough search through the trace log errors caused by the differences in how the virtual space was constructed, but I unfortunately found nothing. Anyway, there's no potential anomaly that hints at any sorts of restraints, nor any program that would facilitate them. They're simply unrestrained. What do you think, Eric? I'm not sure. I cannot imagine the ambassadors have a reason for staying in there. Have you attempted a forced logout? If that were an option, I would have already done it by now. Forcing someone to log out externally carries the risk of damaging their cranial nerves. To safely perform a forced logout, you must dive directly into virtual space they occupy and make direct contact with them. Understood. Keep a careful trace of my dive records too. Please be careful. I've never encountered an incident this unusual. Oh, I have a bad feeling about this. Well, we are not gonna go down there. Instead, we are gonna go walk slowly. Alright, 1 second. Okay, we are now running. So, instead of talking to Mikhail over here to begin the mission, I kind of want to talk to everybody around this police station here in Archon. So, before I want to do that, I want to mention the controls real quick. The arrow keys and the D-pad move you around, or clicking or touching a square moves you to that space as well, as you can see from... Well, you can't really see my cursor actually, but if you use your cursor, or if you're playing on the mobile version, or if you're playing like on a PC, you can just move yourself by just clicking on a square. So that's pretty cool. The X key, clicking or touching the hamburger menu, or the Y button on an Xbox controller brings up the menu screen. I know I should go over this stuff right now, but I'm gonna go ahead and mention this stuff later because, man, this video is already long enough from all that talking we did. But clicking on the X key or touching the back button or B button on an Xbox controller cancels out on the menu screen. The left shift key or the X button makes us move slowly, and I will get more into this later because this is something that you will do when going in a certain point in the game. The Z or Enter key, clicking on an NPC, or pressing the A button on an Xbox controller has you talk to NPCs. The backup system is in perfect condition, on the instruction of Mikhail. Investigator Sauer, please approach this mission with an unwavering determination and complete focus, or, well, if I completely focus on this game, for sure, I'll do that right there, but yeah. Anyways, right here is a blue cube. This right here is the store. You can buy some items from this, but as you can see right here, we don't have a lot of money. But let me go over some of the what some of these items here do. So the med kits here restore your HP. The escape packs let you escape from battles, which, yes, there is battles in this game. This is not like a platformer or anything like that. There is RPG battles after all. But we also have a whole bunch of awesome weapons here too. Weapons, armor, accessories, and we can't even buy his stuff yet. Like, look at all these stat increases for Jan over here. Like, good lord. Man, like, shops in TC 4667 are like, man, they're out of this world right here. Right here is a door right here. We can't really do anything about this yet, but if you played Xenosaga Episode 1, you know the significance about this segment address 5 here. But I'm gonna skip it anyways, because why not? Let's go ahead and talk to Eric. Once you dive into a virtual space, you cannot return until the operation is complete. If you'd like to continue collecting information from people, please go do so now. Rest assured, the details of the operation are kept strictly confidential. However, it seems the Archon police have mobilized a considerable number of officers for the mission, so a summary of the incident has been communicated to the regular officers as well. Let me go ahead and talk to these other NPCs here. Using ether consumes EP. Yeah, actually, we'll probably get into that later. So right here we have Melis, Lactus, and Bugs right here in these little encephalon things, or whatever you call them. Whatever the future tells us, you know. This is the temporary headquarters of the Special Investigation Force. We haven't finished organizing yet, so there's a lot of stuff scattered about. Wait. I feel like this place is so clean to me. Like, you keep the plants maintained and all that. Like, man, I would love to be here if this was the future. The weapons and armor you acquire don't have any effect if you equip. So, yeah, okay, so it's just talking about equipping items here. Once you enter virtual space, you won't be able to return until the operation is complete, so please be careful. Well, we're Jan Sauer, and we can do whatever we want when it comes to special investigations here. You can save at any time, so I recommend you to save frequently. Yeah, we get it, yep. I can definitely tell you that right now, so... Anyways, let's go down the stairs and meet some people right here. Let's talk to this guy right here. Let's see what he's doing. Huh? The juice isn't coming out! Out of order. Damn it! Wow. So much for being in the police force where you can't, like, buy your own items from just a typical store. Man, vending machines are still awful these days. During battles, yeah, okay, so yeah, they basically tell you, I think this guy, yeah, these two basically tell you stuff that we'll be talking about later, but we won't be talking about them right now. Just trust me there. Operator Mikhail is waiting for you to start the mission. He's in the dive room on a sec. No, we love exploring our new humble police station here. Let's go ahead and explore a little bit more. So we got some lockers, or like some kind of servers right here. I always think that these look like lockers. I don't know. I don't know if you're part of this special investigation force or whatever, but you can act all high and mighty. I mean, we're the ones who get their feet wet in the field, let me tell you. Oh boy, hopefully you haven't been stepping in puddles, man. That sucks so much. Oh, is there something you need, investigator? Look at me, look at these two paying respect. Well, let's go ahead and, like, show our respect to our boss, McCallum. Thank you for your hard work. The goal of the operation is to rescue the Goodwill ambassadors. We must also consider that Voyager may be involved. Jan, don't be careless. Chief, I apologize. It's due to my inadequate management that we have ended up in this situation. Is this about Melis? Don't worry about it. Well, I also used to clean up after someone else quite often. Tee. Imagine McCallum just sounding like that, just being the most appropriate boss you would ever go to. Let's go out here. Right now, the mission takes top priority. Really? We can't go out and get some donuts? We're freaking policemen here! At least we have a working elevator, so at least that's something. But man, that's really boring being on the police force. Let's just talk to Mikhail already. Ah, Captain! Preparations for the dive are complete. Would you like to log in? Sure, why not? Our mission objective is to safely secure the consciousnesses of the Federation Goodwill ambassadors and diplomats. Based on the information we gathered, it appears that they're being held captive at point NGPP642T8. The location is the same as where the initial meeting took place. If you locate the targets, remain cautious of your surroundings and avoid acting alone. Report the situation immediately before taking further action. We are not allowed to initiate a forced logout as soon as the targets are located. If a forced logout procedure is required, we should remain prepared for it. We aren't joking. The usual logouts you do are for normal cases. Understand? Why do you think our special team was sent here? This virtual space isn't the usual place, quote-unquote, that you're familiar with. I don't know why I said quote-unquote there. We still don't know if the target's forced logout could potentially cause brain damage. If it does, all the diplomatic efforts made so far would be for nothing. I want you all to remain vigilant and remain alert for any potential hacking attempts. Understood! Alright, confirming the target's present location. They're at point NGPP642T8, not far from here. One more thing to reaffirm. This space is built using entirely different logic compared to standard virtual spaces. We're expecting the presence of antibody functions similar to macrophages, but their algorithms and behaviors remain unknown. Stay cautious and don't let your guard down. Yes, ma'am! Like we're some police troop or something. Whew. That was quite the sigh. Have you ever thought about retiring and becoming a school teacher? Don't tease me! Mattis has become extremely nervous. Respiration at 128%, heart rate at 160%, body temperature at 112%. All our basic vital signs are exceeding normal values. You lay off, Bugs! Jeez, what kind of program is that anyway? I'll tell Eric! Sorry. Are you feeling nervous? Probably, but either way, I want this mission settled. Please, help me! You weren't acting this determined before the dive. Why are you getting so desperate? If you don't want to talk about it, then I won't force you to. Do you know when Captain Sauer was promoted to the rank of captain? I don't know. I've never really paid attention to it. It was 7 years ago. He was 23 years old, the same age as I am right now. Ah, I see now. So you think if you do well on this mission, you'll earn yourself a promotion to captain as well? Stop joking around. Listen, this isn't a game, nor a tool to fulfill your vanity. You do understand that failure is not an option, right? I know, but I'll do whatever it takes to complete the mission without the help of the captain. Please, lend me your strength. I'll see the mission through. Realians like myself were created for this purpose. Whether it's the captain or you, I will fulfill the mission I've been assigned to the very end. And you, Bugs? Me? Well, we've already come this far, so there's no avoiding a scolding from the captain. If we're going to get scolded anyway, successfully completing the mission might reduce the severity of the scolding. Just thinking out loud. Oh, but more than what I'm worried about, Eric. If the captain finds out he used me without permission, just the thought of it is terrifying. Don't worry about Eric. I'll take full responsibility for that decision. So if I can count on support from the both of you, then let's go. We need to hurry up and rescue these ambassadors. Malice, please wait a moment. Yes? Wouldn't it be a good idea to reveal some battle tactics? You know what? Why not? Let's learn about the battle tactics. Sure, let's go over the battle interface for a bit to make sure we're familiar with it. Melis, the enemy has appeared! Perfect timing! Engage the enemy! Okay. Yeah, I'm not Xenoblade at all, guys. Xenoblade brained at all. Anyways, we have engaged in our first monster. This time it's the tutorial. So, as you can see on the top right corner, that is what's called the turn order bar. Let's go over the battle interface for a bit to make sure we're familiar with it. First, at the bottom of the battle screen, there are 3 bars for each battle party member. Health points, HP, Ether points, EP, and Boost points, BP. Malice, make sure to always keep your HP above 0. Come here, boy! What's that supposed to mean? Anyway, let's continue. Love these freaking tutorial messages sometimes. When it's a character's turn, they can perform a regular attack to damage an enemy, guard to defend themselves from an enemy attack, or use an item. Alright, our first battle. So, every time you perform an attack, check out the BP meter under there. That is how you gain PP from what you do in this game, and we'll go over more about BP later. So, also, guarding also protects you from any attack, whether it's physical or elemental based, so that will be really helpful later on. But let's go ahead and keep attacking, and build up our BP here for something coming up in a second. We won't come very far if we only use basic attacks on our enemies, so let's add some more options. First, there is the tech option to use tech attacks. Tech attacks are more powerful than regular attacks, and some have special abilities, but you also need to spend EP to use them. Alright, we got the tech functionality here. So, techs are special attacks just like in Xenosaga, and here we have Melis's first tech attack, which is Lunar Shot 1. This is a medium physical move that hits a single enemy and costs 4 EP. With Lactus, he has one of the best techs in the entire game, which is Jackal 1. It's a physical move that hits 2 times on a single enemy and costs 6 AP. This attack is much stronger than Lunar Shot because Lactus has a slightly higher attack stat, but in general, the EP cost is a way more because of that. Bugs doesn't have any tech attacks yet. Man, robots in Xenosaga don't have a lot of good stuff attributed to them. God. Man, just hate robots sometimes. Next, there is the Ether option, which allows you to use any Ethers you learnt. These are also need EP to be used. Melis, I took some damage. Please heal me! I have an Ether called Medica S, which I can use to heal Lactus. And as you can see right there, Lactus has, what, more than half of its damage taken out or something? I don't know. But anyways, let's go over Ether right here, which are basically magic in the Xenosaga universe. Here we have Medica S, which heals party members, which is also a small amount, and it uses 4 BP once you use them. Lactus doesn't have any Ether moves right now, so let's go ahead and Jackal 2 this mofo. Bugs also has an Ether attack that does Ether damage right here. This is Thunderbolt 1. And as you can tell, since he's a robot, of course he would use a freaking electric attack just like that there. It's a Thunder Ether move that causes a small amount of damage to an enemy for 6 EP. Finally, let's talk about what you can do with boost points. There are 2 things that you want to do with the BP of a character. 1, boost a character, and 2, use special attacks. When a character has at least 1 BP, you can boost that character. Boosting a character gives them an extra action. Press and hold R1 or R2 on your gamepad, or Shift or Control on your keyboard, then press the corresponding direction that appears of the character you want to boost. Yeah, don't worry, we will remember that for later. The other option are special attacks. Lactus, can you explain? Yes, these attacks are even more powerful than tech attacks, but you don't need to spend EP for them. Instead, you can execute them by spending your BP. Also, if you manage to kill an enemy with a special attack, you will earn bonus EXP. To demonstrate them, I filled up some of our BP. So as you can see right here, this is a demonstration of our special attacks that we can use. Let's go ahead and demonstrate Lactus's real quick. This right here is Phoenix Strike. This is a large physical attack on an enemy that costs 1 BP to use, or just 1 bar to use. And with that, we defeated the enemy! And we got bonus EXP from that alone. Melis, another enemy has appeared! This time, let's have a real fight. And a real fight, we should do it. We shall. Let's go ahead and kick these guys' butts right here. So as we go through these fights, you will really easily realize that the battle system in this game is very simple. You choose regular attacks, use EP for techs and Ether attacks, and BP for really strong attacks. This is actually something that was implemented from Xenosaga Episode 3 of all things. The original phone version's battle system was much different as it uses a battle system from Xenosaga Episode 1. I'll admit that the battle system from Episode 1 was kind of cumbersome, so just having a regular feeling battle system for once just feels really good in general. I'll talk about the battle system much more in depth later on. Anyways, let's go ahead and take care of all these guys right here. Get ourselves some medkits, and on top of that, kind of a little bit low on HP, so we'll have to get that taken care of later. That covers everything we need to know about the battle system. From here on out, focus on gaining combat experience and experimenting with various ways of fighting. And here we are. So, in the overworld, there is a few things that we can actually do here. So, if you can use the Q and W key, click or touch the swap button, or press L or R1 triggers the Xbox controller to switch party members, as you can see right here. These don't have a function quite yet, but it's cool to play as a pretty blue robot named Bugs right here. Like, look at him, he's not even moving his legs, he's just kind of bopping around in general. Although his up and down sprites just don't have much to them at all. Hitting the Control or Alt keys, or clicking on or touching the Mecha button, or the L2 or R2 triggers on an Xbox controller can do an automatica on party members. I do not recommend doing this often because it costs a lot of EP, as you can see right here. But it's also useful to have in a pinch in general to have, so. However, it can be used to bring party members back to life with just a small use of EP, so this is very useful for beginners to even use in the end. So let's go ahead and go back into the menu because we got a few things to go over. First up is formation. You can basically use this to swap the placements of party members and even in upcoming battles. This doesn't really do anything besides have Melis be a little bit closer to Bugs here. I don't know why you want to have Melis closer to a robot, but that makes fun of him. But who knows at that point. So if you go over here to System, and then click on the Save option, you can go ahead and save in a file whichever you want to. You can save up to, wait, how many save files? Okay, 19. So yeah, you can save up to 19 save files, but also have an autosave on top of that, so it's very useful to have in general. However, we will get to the familiar save points, which are also still here, and I do mean the save points, quote unquote. So let's go ahead and head on in. The guard over there isn't paying attention. You should make use of every possible advantage while on the battlefield. Let's attack him from behind. Indeed we shall, so attacking this guy from behind nets us a back attack. Achieving this makes the enemy stunned for one turn, and gives us a third of the BP bar to start with. So let me go ahead and have everybody else guard while I have Melis use a special attack on these guys, which is called Break Bash. It's a medium physical attack that hits one enemy and has a high critical hit chance, and it only costs 1 BP. Unfortunately, it didn't crit there, but there is a way to show that it does crit by just the tag above it as well. So let's go ahead and continue on here with these guys. These guys shouldn't be a problem right now. In fact, you know what? Let's see if we can get a crit here. Okay, no, we didn't get a crit there. But we did get a lot of experience here, and we leveled up to level 2! As you just saw, attacking an enemy from behind will result in a back attack. In a back attack, the enemy gets stunned and can't act for the first round. You can give you a crucial advantage and might even save resources in the long run. However, be aware that the same thing applies to the other way around if an enemy attacks us from behind. By the way, after a fight, you will always flash for a short time. During that time, you cannot be attacked again. That's called invincibility, Frankie Dingus. There is another enemy roaming on the right. But this time, we can make use of that container on the left. If we get closer to the red container, a target will appear. If you press the confirm key while the target marker is showing up, you can blow it up. Any enemy in a small radius will be stopped, making it easier to do another back attack. On top of that, we will also get additional BP when fighting them. Indeed we shall. Let's go ahead and lure this enemy over to this barrel, which stops them in place. And now, let's ransack their asses! So, after Melis said, if you destroy an electric barrel and make a back attack at the same time, you get a full bar of BP right here. And it lets us take out enemies in a pinch, just like this here. So yeah, we get to just basically destroy their asses just like that. Why do I keep just saying destroyed our asses, man? Am I just kind of being bewildered or something in the end? By the way, let me go to items real quick. So you notice that these UMN terrorists that we were just fighting drop dog tags. You want to hang on to these for later because, as you can tell, it looks to be something that we can get some cha-ching later. Okay, that was bad. I was not even trying at that point. Let's go ahead and open this chest right here, which we get a medkit S from. And let's go ahead and... Well, that enemy we can't really do much about. So let's go ahead and attack him head on. Apply directly to the forehead. Nope. Oh, that freaking commercial sometimes. Anyways, these enemies are called Einds. These guys are an example of a macrophage. I want to go ahead and defeat the UMN terrorists with everybody else, but I want to have Bugs do his own thing first. Sure, Melis. Go ahead and do Lunar Shot. Why not? And Lactus evaded the attack. Good job, Lactus. You're very, very evasive, as you can tell. So, these Einz enemies are very weak to Thunderbolt 1. So let's go ahead and use that on them, which, as you can see right there, it did a pretty substantial amount of damage, why don't you say? But we need to go ahead and talk about our next thing, which is called boosting. If you press R1 or L1, when you have a boost gauge on somebody like Bugs right over here, and then press the directional button where the arrow is pointing out above the party member, that party member will now get a boost, so he will be next in line on the turn order, as you can see on the top left. So after Melis's turn, Bugs will then go next. So it makes any party member move no matter what, and depending on the turn order, it'll be really helpful just to be able to use a lot of attacks at once. So let's go ahead and attack this Einz here. And then on Bugs' turn, let's go ahead and talk about B-Shot, which is a large physical attack that attacks one enemy for 1 BP. It also hits multiple times, too, as you can see right here. I think that's like 6 times. And whoa, a critical hit right there. Damn. Alright. And now Bugs' party was victorious! And we got a whole ton of items right here. And then everybody leveled up to level 3. Level numeral trace, as I like to say. Let's go ahead and continue right here. Now, over here is a macrophage enemy. But we want to make sure we actually attack them correctly this time. So let's go ahead and stun them. And go behind their asses. I keep saying asses all the time. I need better commentary. Alright, let's go ahead and use Phoenix Strike on these guys. Break Bash. And then Bugs, we'll go ahead and do this on you. I probably shouldn't really do this right now because they're likely to be something really powerful up ahead that I want to deal with, maybe. I don't know. Alright, and there we go. The macrophages are down. Let's go ahead and get to this chest over here. Right there is survivalware. I want to go ahead and hang on to that for a little bit. I didn't mean to skip that. If you see that like skip option coming up sometimes, I apologize because like I'm not apologizing. I don't know about apologizing, but I just apologize for not having the best commentary in the world. Okay. Yeah, I'm just really self-indulging on yourself, huh? Okay. Alright, let's go have these guys attack us. Oh my god, Melis needs to heal. Thankfully, we have a healing point coming up ahead, as you saw with that yellow thing that we saw from earlier. And wow, that didn't even kill it. I probably should be using Jackal 1 on Lactus's turn because it does a little bit more damage, so... Let's go ahead and use Thunderbolt 1 on Einz here. And it didn't knock it out. Alright, well, that guy's getting jackaled, sure. And finally, you're down. Okay. I guess I'm gonna go with the... I guess I'm gonna go with this tech attack right here. I don't really have much for Melis to even do. We got everybody up to level 4. And now we have this. This right here is these yellow save points that I mentioned. And yes, the official names of these things are called save points. But you can't eat. But here's the thing, though. These aren't actually used for saving. These are actually used for healing up your HP and EP right here. So it's pretty useful to have in general, just to, when you see them, just to not use an all medica on everybody and just go to these save points one-on-one. Really nice to know about that. But anyways, enough blabbering. Let's go ahead and continue. What's that? It doesn't seem like something the enemy prepared. Could it be a macrophage that was already embedded in this space? I don't know why I said embedded, but whatever. Bugs. I'm searching. Ah, there it is. It's a Tau Industries mobile interception tank, Sleipnir. Manufactured in 4614. That's pretty old for a macrophage. I don't like this lying in wait business. Transfer that data over to me. Melis, tell the Archon police unit not to intervene until the analysis is complete. I don't think that's a standard macrophage. Yeah. Don't worry, they can take them all on. Attention all units! We are currently analyzing additional information about the mobile interception tank. You are not to engage it under absolutely any circumstances until we issue further orders. We're just meant to wait in front of the enemy. These inexperienced elites are too leisurely in their approach. They're so obsessed with their supposed logical supremacy. That class of mobile interception tank is nothing more than a paper tiger. Let's just eliminate it and move on. Roger that! Alpha, pin it down with suppressive fire. Bravo, move to the right of the enemy and attack their flank. Charlie, secure a snipping position. As you can see, it's ABC there. The base of its neck is the weak point. Hold your attacks until it's exposed. Alright, engage! Ah, wait! Damn it! It's got us! What is that thing? Its reaction is so quick despite its old appearance. Get shocked on! Melis. Hey, Melis, get it together. I'm sorry. I couldn't stop them. Are you sure you'll be able to accomplish the mission without the captain? What are we supposed to do now with you so upset? Like this, that's a little too harsh. Quiet, you! Melis, I've already told you, no matter what you do, I'll complete the mission assigned to me. Don't become a hindrance to that. And the people that the mobile interception tank deleted. They're probably dead. Because of my bad judgment? If you were in the special investigation unit, situations like this would be an everyday occurrence. Do you think someone will get this shaken up is so fit to be a commander? If you want to log out, then do it. I'll take over the mission from here. What's wrong? Are you coming with me or not? Understood. I'll continue the mission. Alright, then our top priority is the destruction of Sleipnir. If we can just take out its core, we should survive. Luckily, Eric configured Bug's counter-terrorism armament to level 3. I thought we were level 4. Even though it's just 3 of us, we can defeat it. Let's go!